really think about circumstance, I think environment is a big part of circumstance. So we don't control circumstance, and we certainly don't control environment. I mean, sometimes we're just in a certain place. We don't control all the different factors of that environment. We don't control where the exit of a building is. We don't control how much grass grows somewhere. We certainly don't control how large highways are, because we're just individuals. Now, since we don't really get to control these environments and these circumstances, or so I call them, then it's very important for us to understand that we need to be able to master circumstance in order to graduate from the first circle to the second circle. Circumstance is not in our control, but our actions are in our control. So ultimately, the best way to overcome circumstance is to look at controllable versus uncontrollable factors and only focus on the controllables. Since we can't control what happens in our environment, but we can sometimes control how we react or act towards that action through a series of actions, we can therefore control the actions we have to our environment, or reactions, I should say, we have to our environment, more so than control the environment itself. Just keep in mind that environments such as maybe the place you live is going to play a significant part in your growth. And so that's why it's to be noted that when you earn a lot of money and you grow up with a lot of money, the first thing you tend to do is actually move somewhere that fits you now, because you've outgrown your environment at that point. Even though you may think that you want to be in that environment because you now mastered it, you really don't, because it's hindering your growth in the long term. And it just doesn't make good business sense to stay in something that's hindering your growth, even if there's a lot of money involved. I think that for myself, growing up, I can give you a lot of different, I would say not ideas, but a lot of different examples of how circumstance played a role in my life. A good way to describe that would be, so when I was younger, I was like 14 years old, and I didn't have a green card, I didn't have a social security card that was available for work. So my card clearly said not available for work, and it had a real social. However, it wasn't. It didn't allow me to go work where all my friends worked, which was McDonald's or other retail establishments in the mall. Instead, since I couldn't control that circumstance, because that was part of my circumstance, and that part was all about the fact that I didn't have a green card or a social security card, so I couldn't work. It just wasn't possible for me to work, but I needed to work. So remember, you just only impact what you can control, not what you can't control. The uncontrollables, uncontrollable, the controllables, the reason why we're going to move forward or not. And so, since the uncontrollable was out of my hand, the controllable, however, was. And so I decided to go ahead and look for jobs just about everywhere, until I saw an opportunity when two men entered my school cafeteria and were offering jobs to individuals who understand customer service, understand how to answer the phones. They never mentioned it was a telemarketing job, and even if they would have, I would have probably taken it because I didn't have much of a choice. They just mentioned it paid $12 an hour, which was 20% more than my friends were making. And it also gave me an opportunity, pretty good opportunity to learn a lot of new skills. But I think I could have easily given up with the fact that I had a social security that's not valid for work. What are the odds that someone hires me saying not valid for work? But they did, and they did because I persevered, and they did because I presented myself well. I took every opportunity seriously, even the ones that I was unlikely to get. If I did go to the interview, then I made sure that it made sense. But I could have easily just not done anything and said, hey, I'm not going to go apply to that place and just let it go. But that's what's important, is being able to overcome whatever barriers there to what you can control. And in this case, I controlled it enough to know to keep trying until someone eventually said yes, and that yes came much faster than I expected, which made me employed as a telemarketer at the age of